Zach, I'm curious to your thoughts here on the Chiefs' first-round pick. I know you had mocked them an offensive lineman. Do you see them going anywhere else position-wise with that first-round pick?
Yeah, looking at some of the team needs you guys have, it's a lot of offensive line. I want you guys to get depth at the opposition, but you could also. Personally, I thought it was a little bit of a reach taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire last year, but I get the need at running back. I could see you guys reaching to get a wide receiver because
Mhm.
the class is deep and talented. But you guys, I want to see you guys get a big alpha dog wide receiver on the outside to pair up with Tyreek Hill. And there are guys in this class that can do that. Rashad Bateman, I think, is one that could be your X on the outside. Guys like him. Trying to think of another one off the top of my head. But there's just so much talent that I think if you want to snag a guy at 31 and get your guy, you might see them reach for one of those wide receivers at the bottom of the round, of round one there.
Dude, Zach, I'm so happy you brought up Bateman because Tucker likes Bateman, but I absolutely love the kid. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player. And him and the Chiefs are like a match made in heaven. They need that big bodied receiver, like you said. I worry about his top end speed. I just don't know if he has that to be extremely successful. But the dude checks off.
Did you see what he ran at the X at the? Did you see what he ran? 4.39.
I'm taking it with a very small grain of salt, but I'm very happy to hear that, man. But overall, I think he checks off every other box. And I think that if he's within that 26, 27 range, Chiefs would maybe even think about trading up to get someone like him. But either way, whether they trade back, trade up, or stay where they're at, I think there's going to be someone there for them.
So I'm a Minnesota guy. I don't know if you guys know that or not. So I got a chance to watch Bateman come up through the ranks. Last year, I was telling everyone about him. I was like, the sophomore kid is going to come up and you're going to be shocked at how good he is. Mm-hmm. And there he was shining out. Everyone's talking about him being a potential first rounder. And he is. He is a potential first rounder. But the thing about Bateman is he does everything really well, not really great. You know what I mean? There's not a trait of his that I'm like, okay, he's got amazing hands. Well, no, he's had a few drops. He has amazing speed. Well, no, not necessarily. It's average. I wouldn't say it's anything great. He's an amazing route runner. No, he's a good route runner. He's not, an amazing route runner. So there's nothing that really sets him head and shoulders above any other prospect like a Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase, even Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall might be a good one for you guys at 31 there too. So there's definitely some question marks about his game. Bias, I love him. But scouting wise, I like him. He's not a bad prospect. He's not going to hurt you.
Right. So we partner with the NFL mock draft database to do our mock drafts on, and we have people do mock draft simulations on there to send them in to us on Twitter.
Oh man! And mock draft database, we're actually working on getting some blurbs out there with them. So you might actually, when you draft a player, you might start seeing our blurb on there pretty soon. So.
Very cool.
Love that because we love that website. We love what they're doing over there with what Denny's cooking up. And we keep seeing in these simulations, Rashad Bateman falling in that 20 range. Do you think it's justifiable to trade up to, maybe 20 to grab him?
Here's my problem with trading up. And I talked about this with the Dolphins. You're talking about them maybe taking like Chase or Devonta Smith at 3. You just don't do that. Because there's so much talent and so much depth in this wide receiver class. I don't know if I can justify trading up and grabbing a guy like Bateman because at 31, Terrace Marshall is likely going to be there. At 30, even later on, trying to think of guys off the top of my head, I'm struggling to do that this morning or this afternoon.
Sage Strat, Diami Brown, guys like that. Just like the interesting players, who may just make plays and have those bigger bodies.
Yeah, so there's definitely going to be guys later on in the NFL draft that you can take instead of trading up and losing some more draft value. But getting a guy like Rashad Bateman is going to be fun, man.
Right. I think that's kind of what we like to say. Jordan had a phrase he threw out kind of at the beginning of this whole draft season that he thinks that you got to give Patrick Mahomes a new toy to play with every year, kind of like a kid on Christmas. The draft day is going to be Mahomes' Christmas, getting a new toy to play with. But personally, for me, when I start thinking about it, if the Chiefs are able to bulk up this offensive line, maybe it makes the Clyde Edwards-Helaire pick last year look a lot better with a better offensive line in front of him. I think that could be another very good situation to go. And this tackle class is really deep. I know that a lot of people think now that Brett Veach had his press conference and he said, oh, Eric Fisher looks like he's going to be on track to come back by mid-August, by training camp. So a lot of people are saying, oh, let's forget about drafting an offensive tackle, but I'm not quite ready to do that. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my biggest thing about my two biggest things when it comes to offensive linemen, continuity and depth.
Hmm.
All right. So you got to get some depth and have someone that you can fill in and be that sixth man off the bench. Right. So, guys that come to mind, obviously you got your Penei Sewell going, likely going top 5. Rashawn Slater, who I would say you could put in the top 10. Christian Darrisaw, somewhere around top 15. All very good players. But then it dips off a little bit when when you could look at a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker, who could play inside, he can play outside. He's shown some really good versatility and is constantly mocked inside the top 20. But I don't see him a top 20 player. I see him somewhere more in the 20s and maybe closer to the back half of the first round. Even guys like Walker Little, who are extremely athletic, but maybe didn't perform that well at the college level.
Mm-hmm.
NFL GMs and coaches are going to see that athleticism and they're going to be like, okay, I can work with this. There's right. something I can work with here. And they're going to stag him at the back of the second round, top of the third, and be like, okay, let's see what you can do. James Hudson from Cincinnati had a great Senior Bowl. He's someone I could see sneaking into the first round for you guys. Even a guy like Adrian Ely, who wasn't great out of Oklahoma, but I think there's still some there with being able to play left tackle and right tackle. And Deontay Smith out of Eastern Carolina. Kid is a stud, and he's going to be a steal on day 2.